Hey everybody, welcome back to the 50/50 Showcase, episode 37. This is Skin Tight. She is my dual pistols ninjutsu ninja tool mastery sentinel. She's the second sentinel of my collection, the 37th level 50 hero vigilante rogue villain of my set. 50 that I'm running here on the City of Heroes Homecoming servers, the Excelsior Shard. Sentinels, they are a ranged, high survivability, probably predominantly more of a solo type of archetype. However, on teams, you can obviously contribute damage. And if you saw my episode 36, when I first introduced Sentinels, my first one, Astrologer, one of my critiques of the Sentinel archetype is that on the team, aside from the range damage stuff, their secondary, their shields, their defenses really don't do anything to help the teams at all. So you're kind of this high survivability shooter on your squad. And so really if you want to be a team player, you're gonna be trying to leverage your blasts and your ancillary power pool, your mastery powers in order to get some sort of controls or debuffs or something out there to help benefit your team. So you'll see how I've tried to incorporate that with this particular build as well. Speaking of the build, let's take a look at her mids build. All right, so here is Skin Tight. If you take a quick look at the various choices I have made as far as the different enhancements that I selected, which sets I went after. The build in general is a little bit pricey. Not the most expensive build I have, of course, but it's up there. I've got a couple of ATO sets sitting here in Hail of Bullets, the Sentinel's Ward. I've got the other ATO archetypes set up here, Opportunity Strikes and Bullet Rain. Those are kind of pricey, but I put them in here because I want the procs, the chance for opportunity, and the chance for absorb to have a greater likelihood of triggering because I'm going to use these two powers a lot. They have a lot of AoE targets that I can hit, and that gives you greater chances for them to fire off. So I have those two sets sitting in here. Plus, they also provide some nice set bonuses like range, endurance. The recharge is something I really went after with this build. I got lots of recharge because Skin Tight is going to be your sort of prototypical, femme fatale spy type of, movie type of archetype. In the vein of somebody like Black Widow from Marvel. So she fits that mold. So she's going to be high mobility, high speed, lots of attacks, getting in and out of the fight. She does want to get into melee a bunch because the ninja training sets. Let me turn off these pop-ups because they get annoying, as you've seen. So the ninja tool mastery, this does promote a melee style because you've got little caltroppy things you want to throw. The Sting of the Wasp and the Lotus Drops are a couple of sword attacks that you need to get into melee with. Plus, you combine that with Hail of Bullets, which is a PB AoE, Bullet Rain, which is a targeted AoE, but you can just drop it right at your feet. So with those, 4 or 5 powers, plus I went ahead and dipped into the leaping pool for jump kick and spring attack. Those are both short range melee E powers. So I have a lot of reasons to get into melee. But then I'm going to pop out, jump out of melee, so I need to be fast so that I can, empty clips. I can pistols, dual wield, suppressive fire, piercing rounds from range. So you're going to see me, bebopping back and forth, in and out. So I went with sets that are going to give me a lot of mobility. And ninjutsu requires a lot of defense, so I have a lot of choices for the various sets that I've taken that are going to give me some bonuses to defenses. I've also grabbed a lot of the unique stuff, like for instance, I've got let me turn the pop-ups back on. I've got pop-ups. Come on, pop-ups, work for me. Here we go. Why are you not working? Pop-up. Well, that's weird. They were just working and now, okay, there we go. All right, so anyway, for instance, I got the Gladiator's armor sitting in here. That's the defense to all. I've got the scaling resistance, reactive defense unique sitting here. I've got the Kismet accuracy plus 6%. I've got the steadfast protection unique, the resistance plus defense to everything, impervium armor unique. I've got the Aegis unique for the psi resistance. I've got the shield wall unique, the plus resistance, everything's sitting over here. I'm going to throw a Luck of the Gambler sitting right here in the Shinobi. So I've got a lot of these unique defensive sets and damage resistance sets, but really it comes down to defense is built into ninja reflexes and danger sense being your two main defensive toggles, and then the rest of these things are going to add bits and pieces of defense here and there, etc., etc. And so my totals, when you take a look, I've got, I mean, the individual defenses aren't that great. They're only in the teens, but your positional defenses, melee, ranged, and AoEs are in the upper 40s, close to 50%. That is not with my incarnates activated, so just FYI on that. But it is with, and here's another reason why you want to get into melee. If you take a look at Hell of Bullets, I don't know how many people know this about this set or this power in dual pistols, but when you fire it and you're hitting, you do get a defense boost for melee, range, and AoE. So you want to get into that melee. So when you click this power, it's going to activate, do the damage, of course. It's also going to proc absorb to give you that little bit of temporary HP, but take a look at also procs defense to melee range and AoE. So if you take a look at the actual numbers over here, when I toggle it on and off, you can see that your defenses are going to move up about 10% just by that power alone. So, hey, you want to get into melee and start firing bullets. So you're going to see me dive in there, fire this off to get that little quick defense boost to punch me up to close to 50%. And again, this is not with my incarnates activated yet. But that's really her survivability. She's got to get in, get out, get the defenses as high as she can, and start blasting away to deal damage and take targets down. She doesn't have time to stand in there and take a beating. She's got to get in, get out, fire, 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 and leverage position as much as she can. So you'll see me kind of moving around a bit with her. Other stuff that will give you some, protection, some defense. You have to worry about, of course, Mez, and with the ninjutsu defense, your Mez protection is sitting here in Kuji Inrin. Don't ask me how to exactly pronounce those, but this power right here is your clickable, which is the problem. It's a click, so it's not a toggle, it's a click. And so you click it and it gives you your Mez protection. Let me scoot that up so you can see it better. So this Kuji right here, when you click it, gives you stun, hold, sleep, immobilize, confuse, fear, protection, as well as resistance to psionic. And it has a speed boosting ability. So you see me, I've slotted it with the Blessing of the Zephyr set. Blessing of the Zephyr gives some knockback protection as well as defense for 2 and 3 slotting to ranged and AoE and that sort of thing. So I have the full set of Blessing of the Zephyr here. Also gives me some of that knockback protection. You have knockback protection. Where's the other location of it? I think it's in. Turn off that real quick. Where's my knockback protection? It's around here somewhere. They have these powers. Names are kind of strange, so that's why I'm scratching my head a little bit, but you do get it somewhere else. Ah, here it is. It's in Ryuku. Okay, it's sitting right here. Bo Ryuku. That is a auto power, self resistance, knockback, knock up, and also resistance to all damage. So that's sitting right here. That's the one that I have loaded up with all these weird powers, or all these weird set thingies here, right? All these uniques. The overall, I think, damage resistance isn't awesome, right? It's 8%, I think, to everything. But then you throw in, I've got the psionic resistances, I've got the steadfast resistance defense global, and then the gladiator's armor TP protection defense global as well. So this gives me some knockback. It's only like 4 though, right? And certain attacks in the game are much higher in magnitude than 4. But I've got another 4 sitting here from Blessing the Zephyr. So I have mag protection against knockback of 8. That should protect me against pretty much any knockback in the game, except for there are a couple of circumstances where there's even higher magnitude than that. So anyway, I've got that slotted like that. Other stuff that I've got that's going to give me some protection, some defense. You do have a self heal with the other Kuji over here, Kuji in Sha. This is another click. It's a self heal. Plus, it does give toxic resistance. So if you do need the toxic, attacks that are coming at you, you can't click this. Get some toxic resistance. That's not your big reason for taking it, of course. You want it for the healing. So I've got that sitting here. And that is on a recharge of. Where is my. Why are you not showing up, Mr. Recharge? So there it is, 21 seconds. So every 21 seconds I can heal myself, which in a tough fight, dangerous fight, that's not really that fast, right? But I do have the chance to self-heal up here. I do have the chance for absorb proc down here in health, so I do have some additional protection there. And outside of your defenses and some of this healing, some of this procking heals, procking absorbs, I have blinding powder, which does have a minus to hit component to it. It's a cone. It can also sleep. It can also confuse. It also lowers perception. The effects on this one, it does have near minus 10%. Not huge, but if you combine it with your defenses that you've got, which are close to 50% right now, that's not too shabby when you add that up. It's just that it's a cone, so you got to make sure you line it up before you just dive straight into melee. So that might be like an opening sort of a thing, or early in a fight, or if you dive in, fire off hail of bullets, then jump back out. You can throw your blinding powder to get you some more of that defense, minus to hit debuffery. All right, so aside from that, you've got your blasts, right? And the blasts are blasts. Let me scoot this down a little bit so you can see those better. You've got dual pistols, and the big thing about dual pistols that you want to know is aside from it being a blast set, it has swap ammo is its thing. You don't have aim or build up in dual pistols, so you have no way to boost your overall damage or accuracy. Which, by the way, is why in blinding powder I did put siphon insight for the chance to plus to hit. So that gives me a little bit of help with that. Okay. So you don't have just that native, aim button that you can click to put you over the top. So I've gone for some accuracy in certain. So like Thunder Strikes, right? They have accuracy of plus 7% with 4 slots. You see that in pistols. You see that in dual wield. You see that in suppressive fire. So I'm getting, plus 21% accuracy right there. That's also why I slotted the Kismet unique, the plus 6%, that's a hit boost right there. That's a global for everything, so I've got that in there. The other places I'm getting some accuracy are Hail of Bullets. The superior version gives me 15%. So that's going to add to my 21. So now I'm 36% accuracy, with just those 4 powers going. Where else did I put any other stuff or any accuracy? Oh, yeah, the obliterations that I have sitting in the Lotus drops. Also here in Spring Attack, those also have plus 9% accuracy, so there's another 18%. So I'm getting a lot of, plus accuracy from my sets and things. So I went for that with a lot of the different powers. The other thing you'll see that I have a lot of is recharge. I've got 92.5%. Because I need that mez protection, for instance, to be, on auto fire and coming back over and over. That's the Kuji in Rin down here. That has to be, I have that on auto, so I need that firing. It is on a recharge of 103.9 seconds. Its duration is 120. So it is perma mez protection. If you don't have this perma, your mez protection will drop and you will get stunned or held or slept. So this is sort of a priority recharge slotting, power right here. So I didn't have to go straight recharge in it. Originally I did, but when they revamped, ninjutsu here on Homecoming, they moved I think there was a defense. Actually, this was not slottable, I don't think, for anything. It now is slottable for damage resistance and some movement speed because they moved the movement speed and put a little bit of resistance in it. So I went ahead and just moved my Blessing of the Zephyr because I used to have the Blessing of the Zephyr sitting up here. I think it was in the Shinobi Eri, but then they took the movement speed out of this stealthy power here and moved it down there, and then they put a little bit of defense in this one. So I had to move some slotting around in order to make things work. But anyway, that's what you're seeing overall there. Other than that, control wise, I don't have much other than there is some knockback possible with your bullets. I do have the Tashabishi, which are just caltrops. That's a nice, patch that you can drop down for minus speed. And then Paralyzing Dart is a single target hold. I did take the +2 mag hold proc in that one, so I can one shot hold the boss occasionally. And then you got the potential for the Sleep Confuse here, Blinding Powder. So you're really not going to bring a lot of control to the table. You're not really bringing a lot of debuff to the table with this. What you do have is swap ammo. That's going to be your sort of bread and butter ability to boost damage or debuff whatever. Because with swap ammo, you can choose one of 3 bullet types. And I think it's on here. I thought it was. Oh, here it is. Cryo ammo, ice, which will apply a minus speed, I believe, to its bullets. So that can give you some slowing, some minus recharge. I think is also in there. It also turns one of your powers into a hold. I think it's suppressive fire. It's normally a disorient, but if you get the cryo rounds, it turns into a hold. Incendiary is just extra damage. I think that's what I have usually run with this character because I'm mostly going for damage with her, not worrying too much about the control side of things. And then you've got chemical, which is toxic damage, but I believe it applies a minus damage debuff to targets that you shoot. So it's a debuff of incoming damage. So you've got some possible control with cryo. You got some bonus damage with incendiary, or you've got some damage debuffing with chemical. Those are your 3 choices. Or you can just go with standard kinetic rounds and not have any of those selected, and then your bullets do a lot more knockback, which can get annoying depending on how you use it. But that's the main thing, right? You do get some minus defense in a couple of the bullets, right? Pistols. Most bullet type powers in the game do have minus defense. There's some minus defense there in pistols. Empty clips has it. The dual wield has the knockback in it. Bullet rain can do some knockback. Suppressive fire has the stun. Piercing rounds is minus resistance. Hail of bullets has some knockdown as well. So you do have some control in the bullets. It just depends on how you slot them and how you're using them. And then I did take spring attack as well as jump kick. Jump kick, it's trashy, but it's sort of a filler attack that I can throw in there because I kind of like it as far as fitting with the whole ninja concept. You can knock back, knock a target down, but it's the accuracy on that is shit, so it's hard to hit. I don't really have it slotted for very well, obviously, because I didn't want to commit too much to it. Animation is a little bit goofy too. You kind of do like this kip up maneuver. But spring attack's pretty cool. So one thing you'll see me doing is it's like a little mini teleport. So it's a short range teleport. You'll see me kind of spring attack in. When you land, you knock down foes, and then I'll maybe throw Lotus Drops, which is a PBOE spinning sword attack with my katana to slice and dice. Chop at them with Lotus Drops, or sorry, Sting of the Wasp, and then maybe do a jump kick and then get out of there, whatever, and start unloading bullets. So I can jump in, jump out. It's kind of more thematic than, I guess, purposeful. Okay, other than that, we've got our incarnates. That's going to kind of put the rest of this build together for you to see exactly what you're doing because you really need to rely upon your defenses over here to survive. And I also mentioned I don't have any really aim or build up ability other than what I can get with the set bonuses as well as the potential to hit uh, proc from Siphon Insight over here. So my only other way to kind of boost overall accuracy is going with an incarnate alpha like Nerve. So with Nerve, it gives you accuracy boost, which I can use. It gives a hold boost. I do have a hold, so that's going to help that. And the big thing there is the defense buffs. It's going to add defense to all my defensive power. So when I click that, if you keep an eye on the numbers over here, you can see it's going to boost me up to 50% on those core defensive, melee ranged AoE positional stuff. So now, once my nerve is on, I'm at level 50. I now have much better defenses, a few percent higher, which is going to make a big difference, right? So that's the big thing there. And then my accuracy for all my powers is pretty solid at that point, right? I've got like capped accuracies here with dual wield, empty clips, even jump kick is accuracies up to 78%, even though I've only got accuracy knockback in it. So I have really solid accuracy as well as really good defenses once nerve is fired up. The other thing I've got is barriers, so that's a big old plus defense power. So, if I'm going to go into a big tough fight, I click that. My defenses, shoot up to 130, 140%, 100% for all these different subtypes. My damage resistances get capped, right? It's over the top type of numbers, but it only lasts, a few seconds, so it's not like it's going to uh, not a few seconds. I think it's like 30 seconds, whatever. But it's definitely a big old spike, and then it decays over time. I also took Dive Magnetic on this character, like I did, I think, with my other Sentinel. That has the minus to hit, the minus regen. That's one thing I didn't mention as far as a flaw or a problem overall with Sentinels is they don't have any native way for the most part to debuff really hard targets like AVs or giant monsters. You don't have a lot of tools in your kit that's going to lower regen or resistance. So depends on your power set you choose, of course. So they are going to have to rely upon outside methods. So for instance, Diamagnetic has the minus regen, so all of my attacks have a chance to proc this minus regen. But I really didn't take it for that. I took it for the minus to hit because the minus to hit proccing on all my attacks is going to allow my defenses to be even better because now my enemies have lower to hit me. I also grabbed the support radio because that's also going to boost defense. So when I have this hybrid clicked, again, you can see my defense numbers go up. Now I'm 60-ish%, mid 50s on my core positional defenses over here. It boosts your damage, it boosts your accuracy even more. So if you take a look at that jump kick again, I've got like 78% or so accuracy. It's going to boost that number up pretty high. So that's a good, overall power. It also gives you some resistance there to meds. That's what the plus special also helps with in any of my own controls. So that's going to be a nice little boost, and my heals get boosted a little bit by the plus special. And then I took Vorpal. Vorpal is your, let me scoot it that way. So Vorpal, that has a plus defense component to it as well. So it's a range cone, judgment power, smashing damage, big wide cone. But when you hit, your defense also kicks up. So I can open with this to get a big old defense boost. I can then dive into melee, fire hail of bullets to get that defense boost. I can click barrier if I know I really need a big defense boost, right? I've got ways to getting lots of defenses boosting powers, 150 plus percent or so. Plus I got the minus to hit with the dive magnetic, so I've got lots of ways to not get hit with this character. And then if I do get hit, I do have the healing option with the Kuji and Sha, plus just the random procking of the chance to heal sitting right here. And I got the absorb proc, like I said, over here with the preventative medicine. I've also got the absorb proc sitting there in the hail of bullets. All right, so there you go, guys. That is the overall build. Your core is you're going for defense, right? Duh. Ninjutsu is defense. And then I'm just going to layer on a bunch of, blasting damage, which can debuff some to hit. I usually running the fire to get the bonus burn. And then I've got a little bit of minor control thrown in there, just to kind of cover some of the gaps. All right. Other than that, that's the build. That's the idea. And I'm gonna go ahead and run some solo stuff now. Run some teams, and you can see it for yourself. All right. We'll be back.